The Steelers won last night, 34th team in NFL history, only 34 in league history, to be outgained in every single game first 8 weeks. Now, they are the only one to ever have a winning record. So you can't, and that's with two great receivers, two very solid running backs. So go ahead and blame your offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. Go ahead. But the story last night was Will Levis on the road, only a second start against that defense with a 30th offensive ranked line in the league. Weak wide receiver class. Was the better quarterback. Should not have been. Should have been engulfed. But he sees the field. Big arm, confident, courage. The Tennessee Titans have found their franchise quarterback. And this weekend, there are 4 games you have to watch in the league because they have really good quarterback play. There is junk every Sunday. How do you avoid it? Find your Will Levis. Now, Kenny Pickett, they're going to delude themselves into thinking they have the guy. They're the only team with a winning record in league history that's been outgained 8 straight weeks. With those receivers, those backs, how? They even have a good tight end. How? Kenny Pickett is winning due to things he's mostly not contributing to. He is a terrible first-half quarterback, one of the league's worst. That means you're going to have to play from behind in the AFC. He's also missing, last night, at least 5 easy throws, and he misses them badly. But this roster is so deep, this organization in Pittsburgh does such a remarkable job, better than anybody in the league, to find, draft, and develop wide receiver and skill talent, that Kenny Pickett's winning. And due to that, the Steelers, loyal to a fault, are going to ride local guy Kenny Pickett for years, to the very end, like they did Big Ben. They're going to convince themselves, we're going to get there. Big Ben's last 7-8 years, fairy tale. Nobody bought it except you. And nobody thinks Kenny Pickett's got the arm, the juice, nobody, because he doesn't. He was a third-round pick. They reached on because they were desperate at quarterback, because Big Ben scared them every time they considered drafting his heir apparent, and so they're left with a nice kid, a local kid, who's a B- at mostly everything. He moves okay. His arm's okay. Not that accurate. Certainly not close to a Joe Burrow, and that's who you got to face in the AFC. Will Levis, A-plus arm. Mom went to Yale, 4-point student. Was he cocky? Yeah. That's why he dropped to the top of the second. Turned off executives. A lot of Jay Cutler here. But his talent, his arm, his juice, it's indisputable. You can see it. I mean, I was on the interweb last night. Everybody's like, whoa, Titans found their guy. He was a first-round talent. In fact, he was a top 12 pick talent that turned people off, so he dropped to the second. Kenny Pickett was a top of the third talent, a reach late in the first. There's a difference. But Pittsburgh's going to ride it. Even though they're winning mostly due to stuff Kenny Pickett does not contribute to. He doesn't. He'll make 1 or 2 nice late throws. Congrats. I mean, what happens to the first 2.5 quarters? Mike Thompson. So my big 2 takeaways last night. Number 1, Pittsburgh, as we predicted, would make the playoffs, has a completely top 5 loaded roster, but don't have the quarterback, and will delude themselves into thinking they do. And my number 2 take is Will Levis is the guy. It'll be bumpy. He can be cocky, falls in love with his arm. No need to play Ryan Tannehill. There is a lot of special if you give me Mike Vrabel and Will Levis for the next 10 years. Now, Mike Tomlin may make the Hall of Fame, but they did it with Ben, and they'll do it with Kenny Pickett. They're going to convince themselves they're winning because of him, and I think they're winning like they were at the end with Big Ben, despite him. All right, so Victor Wembanyama. Wemby had 38 last night, become one of the best fourth-quarter players in the league, and he's 19. There's a lot of talent in the NBA, more than ever now, because it's a global sport. But if you're really honest about this, here's the truth. The NBA only gives us one jaw-dropping talent every 8 to 10 years. It's true. Wilt in the 60s. Could have played multiple sports. Kareem in the 70s. Magic and Bird in the 80s, MJ in the late 80s, 90s, Shaq in the early 2000s, LeBron 2010s, and then Steph. I'm not talking just because they won titles. I'm talking stuff you've never seen before. LeBron James, both ends of the floor, physically dominant. Magic, Bird was a forward, became the best shooter in the league. Kareem, the greatest shot ever created. Steph Curry, who shoots like that. I love Kobe, but we'd seen it before. He was MJ light. Duncan was amazing, but it was mostly based on fundamentals. I'm talking wow, oh my God, OMG, jaw-dropping stuff. And we have our next one. He's 19 years old. The current trend in the NBA, the best players come from overseas. Victor Wembanyama. Now, it's going to take him a while. But like LeBron, Wilt, Kareem, and MJ, Magic, 6'9.5" point guard, Magic, passes like that, 6'9" point guard. Wemby is taking over fourth quarters. He did last night with KD on the floor. He was the best player. He already is arguably the best shot blocker in the league at 19. One of the great rim protectors already. Very difficult defensively to deal with. And as a fourth quarter performer at 19, watch out. Now, don't judge him on titles. It took Shaq 8 years, MJ 7, and LeBron 9, and Steph Curry 6. He's got very little around him. Almost nothing. But watching him at the rim, watching him in the fourth quarter, this isn't a guy who gets his stuff in the middle quarters against backups. He's taking over fourth quarters. I'm not saying there's not good young guys with talent. Anthony Edwards is amazing, but I've seen lots of good athletes. Trae Young can really shoot. I've seen a lot of good shooters. I haven't seen this. This is Wilt and Kareem and Michael and Magic and Bird and Steph and LeBron. It is totally different. 7-4, gets any shot he wants, fourth quarter, all-stars on the floor, and he's unstoppable. Much different. KD is one of his comps, but he's 4 inches taller, feels more offensively developed. KD's a bit of a wanderer. I think that's his sort of personality. I wouldn't be shocked if Wemby played for the Spurs for 20 years. But nutrition's better now, training's better now, coaching's better now. This guy's going to last a long time and win a lot of titles. He is a LeBron, a Steph. You think there's all this talent, and there's more than ever globally. But you get about one every 8 years. And I'm not just talking great players, winning players. I'm talking stuff you've never seen before. Steph Curry changed all of basketball, took shots you used to get benched for. Larry Bird walked into the sport as a forward and was the best passer and the best shooter. When I grew up, it was all guards. Wilt could have played multiple sports. Kareem, Milwaukee won a title. Wow, OMG stuff last night from Wemby. Not even sure how to, watching that fourth quarter, it's like, I got to get my arms around this. 19? LeBron was great when he came in. But it wasn't this. It wasn't, nobody can stop him. LeBron was a freight train early, but he didn't have a refined offensive game, and he wasn't one of the league's best rim defenders. This guy gives you Giannis on one end and KD on the other. It's, whoa. Again, if they could get the right point guard, the right people around him, Spurs have a history of international and domestic drafting, scouting, developing. That kid is. It is. And the other thing, and this matters, Michael Jordan was a very mature player for his age. LeBron, very mature for his age. Wemby brings that to the table as well. That matters a lot. He's going to get engulfed with media coverage, money, and opportunities. Can you handle it? That kid can handle it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.